especially our partners and guests who have traveled to be here. We're honored to have with us Secretary Wright, whose leadership in energy policy has been instrumental in driving progress to help build a stronger and more resilient energy future for America. And I'm delighted to get a chance to introduce Joel Kaplan, Meta's Chief Global Affairs Officer, who will share more about our announcement and the projects we're supporting. Please join me in welcoming Secretary Wright and Joel Kaplan to the stage.
Thanks, Orby. Hey, everyone. Thank you all for coming. As Orby said, I'm Joel Kaplan, Chief Global Affairs Officer at Meta. It's great to be here today with all of you to announce a major step forward in our energy strategy. But first of all, I do also want to thank Secretary Wright for joining us today. Mr. Secretary, it's an honor to have you here. I'd also like to express my deep appreciation to you, President Trump, and his entire administration for their unwavering commitment to American leadership in AI. The bold vision outlined in the President's AI Action Plan, combined with decisive support for expanding reliable energy sources like nuclear power, is essential to winning the AI race and vital to our economic and national security. I also want to thank our partners, Vistra, TerraPower, and Oklo. Your commitment to advancing nuclear energy in America and supporting local communities in the process is critical to powering innovation and securing our country's AI future. I also want to recognize the teams and individuals who operate and build nuclear generation facilities across the country for the engineering excellence, operational rigor, and unwavering focus on safety and security that you demonstrate every day. Today's announcement is an investment in the future of the American economy. Our agreements with Vistra, TerraPower, and Oklo, and the one we signed with Constellation Energy last year, make Meta one of the most significant corporate purchasers of nuclear energy in American history. These projects are going to create thousands of skilled jobs, add new energy to the grid, extend the life of 3 existing nuclear plants, and accelerate new reactor technologies. With Vistra, we've got a 20-year agreement to purchase 2.6 gigawatts of energy from 3 existing nuclear power plants in Ohio and Pennsylvania, which includes the expansion of these plants by 433 megawatts. We know that building new energy resources is essential, but maintaining and expanding existing energy assets on the grid is just as important. Our agreement with Oklo helps advance the development of an entirely new small modular reactor nuclear site in Pike County, Ohio, with up to 1.2 gigawatts of power, and supports new HALEU fuel supply in the U.S. Our agreement with TerraPower will provide funding that helps accelerate the development of 2 new Natrium small modular reactor units with expansion up to 2.8 gigawatts. All told, these agreements will unlock up to 6.6 gigawatts of new and existing nuclear energy capacity by 2035. Investing in nuclear strengthens our country's energy infrastructure, providing clean, reliable electricity for years to come. And projects like these are a critical foundation for the AI revolution that's underway. American AI is creating skilled jobs, increasing productivity, helping businesses grow, and advancing scientific research. And as this transformative technology progresses, it's going to become ever more valuable to us in our daily lives. Meta's vision for personal superintelligence is about putting this power in people's hands so that they can direct it toward what they value in their lives, freeing them to be more creative and productive, to develop culture and communities, to connect with each other, and to lead more fulfilling lives. American AI leads the world, but we are in a fierce competition with China, and we cannot take our foot off the gas. As this administration recognizes, continuing to lead in AI is critical to our economic and national security. For that, we need state-of-the-art data centers and AI infrastructure, and we need reliable, abundant energy to power it all. Thank you all again for joining us. Thanks for your partnership and for your commitment to American energy dominance and the future of the American economy. With that, I will hand it over to Secretary Wright.
Truly exciting day today for America, for energy, for AI, and for American businesses. I want to start with a huge thank you to Meta. What a tremendous American innovative company. Started, grew fast, obviously services around the world, but a truly innovative company making a bold long-term bet here on actually three things that the Trump administration is extremely passionate about. And I'll go through them briefly, but nuclear energy, we're going to get nuclear energy going again in this country. This is the way to do it. Artificial intelligence, really a transformative technology that's going to transform our economy and our national security for the better in the years ahead. And electricity affordability, another central plank of this administration by adding more firm, reliable electricity to the grid. I also thank Meta, and this is how progress happens in our country, for their partnership with other tremendous, innovative, dynamic American businesses. Vistra, TerraPower, and Oklo, these companies embody our future. We're not just doing the same old thing. We're leaning in, we're innovating, we're developing new things, we're taking risk, we're putting private capital in, we're partnering with other businesses. That's how change happens. Our role in the government, we're not the change maker. We're trying to enable and just deliver the conditions so these great American businesses can make this happen. I went to college to work on nuclear energy over 40 years ago. I am lifelong passion for this energy. It takes a small amount of materials in a small amount of land to produce an enormous amount of energy, and not just electricity, ultimately can deliver process heat, the most important use of energy on the planet. If you can't manufacture things, you can't have electricity grid, you can't have everything else. Nuclear is electricity, nuclear is process heat. Nuclear is a huge part of the future of our energy system. But to make it happen, this is an industry our government and regulatory burdens smothered, and it hasn't moved very much in the last few decades. We see the innovators over there that have put capital and risk capital. Now we've got purchasers and bold Meta that's saying, not just we're going to give you a little nudge, we're going to sign long-term agreements to transform the prospects for nuclear in our country. We all know about the next generation small modular reactors. Thrilled about that. It takes large corporate buyers like Meta to make that happen. But also, we have existing nuclear power plants. Let's do deals as they are doing here to extend the life of those plants and to increase the power output of those plants. Over 400 megawatts of new power that's going to come out of existing plants. This is what it takes to drive nuclear forward. Artificial intelligence, I'm probably tired of hearing me talk about artificial intelligence. The most transformative technology of our time right now. Not only is it going to transform all the things you've heard about, it's going to be a tool that's going to enable the advancements in nuclear power and in nuclear energy. It's going to make it smarter, safer, cheaper, more efficient. I think it's going to let us bring fusion power online, another next generation energy source. It's going to play a huge role in quantum computing, materials, and medical advances. AI is transformative. The key, we have the technology, we have the scientists, we have the great businesses here in America to lead in AI. The biggest risk that we don't lead in AI is that we don't deliver the electricity needed to run these intelligence factories in a timely enough fashion. That's another passionate goal of the Trump administration and me personally. We've got to enable all of the developers in the United States. We want to build those intelligence factories here. We want to have the business conditions to do it. And we want to work together with our corporate partners to have that power delivered on time so that America can not only come out of the gate in the lead of AI, which is where we are today, but grow that lead going forward in the future. There's been a lot of words that these AI data centers and this growing demand for power, it's going to drive up the price of electricity. I will tell you the reality is the opposite. If you look at the states in the United States today that have had the fastest growth in electricity prices, they're the states that produce less electricity today than they did 5 years ago. They've been restrictive. They followed these renewable portfolio standards. They made electricity expensive. They didn't allow development of new sources. They shut down reliable sources. That's the road to expensive electricity. We have one state in our country that's actually had declining electricity prices over the last 5 years, and North Dakota. And guess what? It's also the state with the fastest growth in demand for electricity. When you add relatively stable loads, they're not stable, but the high duty cycle loads onto our grid from artificial intelligence, that is the mechanism to lower electricity prices. And Meta and others have been very cooperative partners in that, making deals that will prevent the rise in electricity prices. We need to view AI as this revolutionary technology it is, and it is a way to lower our electricity prices. Of course, this new technology of nuclear generation and reactors is also going to help in that. These are long-term, big, bold visions for our country, and they're becoming reality because of the 4 tremendous companies represented on the stage today. Thank you all so much. I'm so proud to be your partners in these endeavors.
Thank you, Joel and Secretary Wright, for your time this morning. I'll next pass it to our partners who are here with us today. Joining us to discuss their projects are Vistra President and CEO Jim Burke, Oklo CEO and co-founder Jake DeWitt, and TerraPower President and CEO Chris Levesque. Thank you all for being here today. We're excited to work with you all. I'll hand it over to Jim.
Good morning, everybody. It's a challenge to follow the Secretary. I don't know if I have anything to add. I mean, Mr. Secretary, you have been just really out in front on these issues of how do we meet the moment and ensuring reliable, affordable electricity for our customer base, but also for the nation, for all the reasons that Joel, you, and Orvie have mentioned are critical to our economy and our nation's future. I want to thank Joel, you, and Orvie for including us. We know you ran a very competitive process, and we're honored to have been selected as part of that process, and now we need to deliver, and that's what we're going to do. As Orvie said, I'm Jim Burke, President and CEO of Vistra. We are based in Dallas, Texas, and I'll tell you that this expansion for us has been a really great time to be in the industry, but it wouldn't happen without the commitments of companies like Meta. And this is a big, big day for nuclear power. And I know my colleagues here on the stage will share their remarks, but just a few years ago, nuclear wasn't sure what its future was. And this is really, I think, a testament of commitment on everybody's part and an exciting time to be in the industry. Before I share a little bit about our announcement, I want to share a little bit about Vistra. So Vistra is a competitive generator and retailer, and we have 44,000 megawatts of power generation across the country. And we serve 5 million residential and business locations through our retail affiliate. We have a diversified fleet of assets. 6,400 megawatts are nuclear. The name Vistra comes from 2 words, vision and tradition. The tradition started in 1885 in Dallas with the Dallas Electric Light Company. But the vision really extends to what we're talking about here today. How do we bring competitive and innovative solutions to meet the moment for customers like Meta and for our broader customer base? So what is the announcement about today? Very specifically, first, Meta is going to purchase the output from our 2 nuclear facilities in Ohio, Davis-Besse and Perry. Second, they're going to purchase the incremental output, not just from these 2 facilities, but also our Beaver Valley facility in Pennsylvania, and we're going to invest in what the industry calls uprates, which will deliver even more power to the grid once implemented. And third, as a result of these agreements, we will file with the Nuclear Regulatory Commission to extend each of these units an additional 20 years on top of what their current license period is, and that is going to take these units into the 2050s and 2060s. And these are for units that not that long ago were on a path towards retirement. So there could not be a better story coming together here in Ohio and Pennsylvania. It wouldn't have happened without a significant commitment from Meta. And to recap this, they are going to facilitate the extension and expansion of 2,600 megawatts for the next 2 decades. But these are also examples of how competitive power markets can meet the moment. So Ohio and Pennsylvania, as you know, are in competitive power markets. It's part of the broader PJM market. And I think this shows that we can, through these partnerships, enable the load growth. We can welcome the load growth, and that can bring the extended benefits that the Secretary talked about. And we think that nuclear is going to be key to those agreements. It's an exciting time to be part of the industry. We are a long-term owner and operator of assets. I'm joined on the stage with two firms specializing in the technology around nuclear. So I know companies like TerraPower and Oklo are very excited about the important role they're going to play, and we hope to partner with companies like TerraPower and Oklo to bring those into the operational part of the electric grid. So thank you very much. I want to thank Meta once again. I want to thank the Secretary. I also want to thank the Meta team and the Vistra team, because the hard work really happens, you know, throughout the organizations, and folks really don't know how complex these are to pull together, and it took a tenacity that I think will show itself over time as these come to fruition. So thank you very much. It's great to be with you this morning.
Well, good morning. I'm Chris Levesque. I'm the president and CEO of TerraPower. I want to thank Meta for bringing us all together today. And I also want to thank Secretary Wright for joining us. Secretary Wright, you and the Department of Energy, beginning in the first Trump administration, have really kick-started TerraPower and really enabled companies like Meta to have the confidence that advanced nuclear energy can be available in the early 2030s. So I wanted to emphasize that appreciation for DOE's efforts. Many of you are aware that the largest investor in TerraPower is Bill Gates. Well, the equally large investor in TerraPower is the U.S. Department of Energy. Through the Advanced Reactor Demonstration Program, we've been able to advance our project in Wyoming, complete the design, complete the supply chain, and that's something that's given Meta the confidence to do this deal with us. Today's announcement with TerraPower and Meta is proof that advanced nuclear power is ready to scale and meet the needs of industry. Since the first Trump administration, TerraPower has been advancing the development of our Natrium reactor and integrated energy storage system. This effort began in 2020 with an award from the U.S. Department of Energy that created a public-private partnership that not only supports the construction of the plant, but also focuses on building an ecosystem to drive growth and innovation across the advanced nuclear energy industry. Our public-private partnership with the Trump administration includes establishing testing facilities, fuel fabrication processes, training centers, simulators, and robust licensing and regulatory frameworks, among other critical infrastructure components. Bringing new technologies to market is not for the faint of heart, but through 5 years of work, our design is complete, our supply chain is established, and we have successfully completed a safety evaluation with the U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission. We're on track not only to bring online the United States' first commercial-scale advanced nuclear power plant in Kemmerer, Wyoming, where construction's underway now, but we're also well-positioned to take the learnings from this project to rapidly deploy Natrium units in the 2030s and meet growing energy demand. Meta undertook a methodical approach to finding the right fit of technologies that can meet these goals and capacity needs. And I want to congratulate Meta on a rigorous process that occurred over the last year. Meta determined that our Natrium plants will provide gigawatt-scale baseload energy with our innovative built-in energy storage system that can deliver Meta 24/7 reliable power within the next decade. One of the great things about our Natrium design is its flexibility. Our first plant is a single-unit design, but with the safety benefits that advanced nuclear energy offers, including our industry-leading decoupled design approach, separating the nuclear and non-nuclear functions of the plant, we can configure the plant in a dual-unit configuration as well, and that's what we'll be deploying with Meta. We plan to have our initial dual unit completed as early as 2032. We'll begin potential site evaluations with the goal of announcing that first site in the coming months. We plan to have all these plants complete by 2035, bringing clean gigawatts of firm, flexible power across the U.S. We'll work closely with state, federal, and tribal partners as we bring these plants to life. At TerraPower, we've enjoyed strong relationships with local communities in places like Wyoming and Virginia, as we view our role as being good neighbors and reliable partners. As we identify these new sites, we look forward to partnering with Meta, creating high-quality jobs and advancing long-term growth across sectors. This is a hugely exciting time for TerraPower, Meta, and the U.S. nuclear energy industry as a whole. It's a moment when the next generation of nuclear power steps up to meet the needs of the industry. Advanced nuclear energy is proving it's going to play a large role and address the growing energy demands of our country. At TerraPower, as we finish the job of completing that first plant in Wyoming, through our public-private partnership with Secretary Wright and the U.S. Department of Energy, we'll take those learnings to quickly deliver more power to the grid. I can tell you our entire company is energized to work with the Meta team to bring more advanced nuclear energy to the United States. And again, want to thank Meta for your leadership and Secretary Wright for your support. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Jake DeWitt, CEO, co-founder at Oklo. Very excited to be here today. Thank you to the Meta team for your leadership, vision, dedication, commitment, and really, really hard work to embrace going on the nuclear journey here. Nuclear is, to me, the most exciting energy source humankind has ever discovered, like better than everything. It actually touches on two personal passions of mine, what happens today. My PhD was actually about extending the existing operating plants and increasing their power output. So it's pretty cool to see that happening. Very exciting. And then the other passion of mine is next generation fast reactors. And you saw two companies announce today about about making that future happen in terms of partnering with Meta and providing long duration, sort of frankly, world changing energy supplies that start with a big first step, but a small step of what's actually going to come behind this. We're very excited about the partnership with Meta. Several years ago, we saw a huge amount of opportunity to invest and build power plant capacity. That sounds like a funny term, but that meant between fabricating components and fuel and also building power plants in Pike County, Ohio, where we as a country had an incredible industrial capacity and might in leading the world in enrichment with what we did and produced at that plant. The infrastructure remains, the site, the skilled labor, the workforce is still there, but they aren't producing, they're decommissioning. Well, that's changing with what we're doing, with what partners we have in the fuel cycle like Centrus are doing, and this is a very exciting step forward about how we are going to bring more power into that area, which is at a very critical juncture for producing clean, reliable power, not just for Ohio, but for stabilizing broader grid dynamics in sort of the PJM market as a whole. We're excited about committing to bringing jobs there, bringing back that industrial capability, and watching that reinvigorate that community. Furthermore, we're excited about what these steps entail in terms of ushering in a truly new era for nuclear deployment. This is no longer the world of, okay, how do we piece together finding to build a single plant and coordinate all these different facets of government to come up with a program that candidly had not delivered results very well because there was not the same dynamics that exist today, which is huge support in the government, huge market demand, and our innovation ecosystem in nuclear in America being able to actually deliver at the moment. What I'm very excited about today, too, is this marks a huge step forward in realizing the commitment and vision and dedication that President Trump and the nation's leaders have made to leading in energy, not just in the near term, but in a very long-term view. Abundant intelligence will only be built upon the backs of abundant energy, frankly. That is the foundation to realizing the future that we are going to be ushering in and we are going to be stepping into. It is a brave new world, but in exciting ways, because AI changes everything. It's hard to overstate that, and I would argue, we're not even in the warm-up stages of realizing those benefits. But again, it turns back to having abundant energy that's produced at the timescales and at the reliability and availability that's needed to support actually having abundant intelligence. And that's something that nuclear is incredibly well positioned to do. The other part of this that I'm very excited about is how this is positioning building new power to support additionality, which is a term that I know some people get excited about, but what that translates to is driving new generation that we need to build in this country to help drive industrial growth in addition to compute, as well as, frankly, providing a lot of downward price pressure. That's a great thing for everybody on power prices. I think it's very accurate to say that AI and compute needs driven by Meta's vision here are going to play major roles in bringing forward actual changes in how we think about energy as people and how we actually think about consuming it and what the impacts are going to be in terms of how we build a lot more of it, therefore also support these second, third, fourth order effects that ultimately come from having a lot more energy than we have today, and then the benefits that has on the ratepayer as well. It's really, really amazing for me to see. I spend a lot of time in California. That's one of the states that's had probably less generation of energy and a lot higher prices. I also spend some time in other states in the country, and it's amazing to see the impacts of watching how those price changes have occurred in California relatively to other states. We can't continue that trend in this country, and building new nuclear is going to be a key component to not having that occur. And we're very excited about the leadership that Ohio has made in terms of supporting and welcoming these kinds of projects. It's going to be a really bright new future, literally and figuratively. So thank you.
All right, thanks, Jake. Well, it's awesome to see the excitement and enthusiasm from our partners about what we're announcing here today. And that excitement is because this is not just about supporting Meta's growth. It's about investing in the future of American energy, creating jobs, strengthening local communities, and beating China in the AI race. We deeply appreciate the partnership and the commitment of Vistra, TerraPower, and Oklo, and of course the continuing leadership of Secretary Wright and the Trump administration. Thank you all for joining us today. We appreciate you being here and your time.